Hi friends, this is Wendy with Love and Stampin'. Today we are going to be making two really fun Valentine's cards, and I am using some products from Prickly Pear slash Pajama Crafter Stamps and a stamp set from Stampin' Up. So I thought that I was going to use the penguin stamp set, and I ended up not using it and just doing puppy dog cards here. But I wanted to put this stamp together really quick. This one is, I think it's, you saw the front of it. I think it's called Doggone Friendly. And it's literally a whole bunch of dogs. This is probably what the image of heaven looks like for me, is just a whole bunch of dogs. And I'm just going to add this rubber stamp to this sticker and then peel away the backing, and now I will have a nice sticky cling stamp with this sea of puppy dogs. Now, this whole project started out with a really big idea to create some inlay type stuff, and it basically ended up not working out. But I'm going to keep some of the footage so you can see what I was going to try to do. So I'm using my Misty tool to stamp a piece of 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch cardstock with this background stamp. And I'm using Smoky Slate ink to stamp with. Now, originally I stamped this twice with Smoky Slate and then with Hero Art's intensified black ink. I did 2 separate panels, and I was going to color one of them and do some die cut inlay. I've seen this done a million times, and I thought, oh, this would be kind of cool. But turns out that it looked really weird with the dogs. I think if it's like flowers or something abstract, that's different. But because these doggies have faces, it just didn't work. So I kind of had to, it was kind of sad, truthfully. I spent like 45 minutes to an hour working on this idea, and then realized once I went to go put it all together that it just wasn't going to work out. And so that was kind of disappointing. So there you can see on the left where I spent time coloring in a bunch of the puppies, which is very cute. And so my idea was to die cut the heart and the U from the Prickly Pears dies, and then do exactly the same thing on the other one, lined up perfectly so that they would both line up, and then inlay the colored one into the gray one and vice versa. It looked horrible. It just didn't work. So, I wanted to keep this in because I think that people think like every idea a card maker on YouTube does works, and it doesn't. Like sometimes you just have a flop. However, I have learned I don't give up. I find a way to rescue it, if that makes sense. So here I went through the trouble of, here you can see. So I die cut the images from the other one and inlaid it, and it just looked horrible. I did not like it at all. So I went over the top of the die cut letters with the same image, and it was just a little bit popped up because there was a layer underneath, which kind of looked cool. But then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take this a step further, and I'm going to cover it with black. So then I did a black letter or letters U, and then the heart is red, and those are layered on top of the doggies in the background. So yeah, this little project came together beautifully, and I ended up really liking the card in the end, but it took me a while to get there, and that just happens sometimes. I would love to say that every idea I have in my brain comes out perfectly on a card, but it doesn't. So once I got these pieces layered and then I put the heart on, all that was left to do for this card is add it to a card base. But I wasn't done. I really wanted to create more with that little doggy stamp set from Pajama Crafter Stamps. So let's talk about that for just a second. Prickly Pear Stamps was a stamp company that was sold to my friend Joy Wilson. She decided to do a rebrand of the business. So when you go to Pajama Crafter Stamps, you will find Prickly Pear stamps and Pajama Crafter stamps because she rebranded the business to be Pajama Crafter Stamps. So I hope that makes sense to you. And that's why you'll see, like, when I'm using their products, sometimes it's partially Prickly Pear, partially Pajama Crafter Stamps, because they're two different brands. But it's basically, the way she explained it to me is, it's now Pajama Crafter Stamps that carries the Prickly Pear line of products. I hope that makes sense. So this Love You stamp set and dies, they are so cute, and they are the Prickly Pear brand. And then the little puppy dog is Pajama Crafter Stamps, but it's basically all the same. You're buying from the same place. Joy has always wanted to own her own business and sell stamps, and this was just the right time for her. And funny enough, Joy is somebody who has followed my YouTube channel for a long time. I had no idea. And when she purchased the Prickly Pear Stamps company, she reached out to me and asked me if I would be on her design team. And I said, sure. And here, really quick, back to the card. I'm using R59, R29, R35, and R32. And she said, I've been a person who's watched you for a really long time. I just usually don't comment. And I just love you, love your product, or love your cards. Not my product. I don't have a product. And so I just was so touched by that. And it really made me think, we just never know who's watching us. Here, Joy had been watching for a while. She purchased a stamp company and then reaches out to me to be on a design team. And I was so incredibly flattered. And that offer came at a time when I was really struggling with making my changes that I've made creatively. And when she reached out and asked me to be on her design team, it was so flattering, and it just confirmed for me that I was on the right path. So you just never know how, like, people's lives intertwine, or who's watching, or who's listening, or any of those things. Also, I am a Christian. I've shared that here before. And so I had been praying about the big change I was going to make. And so she's also a Christian. So when she reached out, for me, that was just really confirming that I was doing the thing I was supposed to be doing. So anyway, back to the card. I stamped this little chihuahua in the bottom corner of this card layer, and then I'm going to use a piece of masking paper from Altenew. This is my first time using this masking paper. Gotta say, I love it. It worked great. So I've got the Eclipse masking tape roll, which I haven't used yet, and I have this Altenew masking paper. This was my first time using it. Worked fabulously. So I'm really happy with that. And I'm sure I'll be happy with the Eclipse as well, because I know that's what my friend Kelly Taylor uses, and she loves it. That's basically the only masking paper she uses, I think. So here I'm just stamping the Chihuahua on the masking paper, and then I'm going to fussy cut him out because I'm going to mask him off, and we're going to do some ink blending. I'm going to use a really pretty circle stencil to ink blend kind of an ombre look over the top of this Chihuahua, but I don't want him to get inked, so I need to mask him. I'm using my Altenew Low Stick Tacky Matte, and I'm using Candied Apple ink from Tim Holtz. This is a Tim Holtz Distress ink. I didn't like how bright white the circles were, so I just went back over them with the ink. And then here I'm coloring with E31 and E35, I think, or E33 and E35, and colored that little Chihuahua in. And I tried to make him look like my sister's Chihuahua. She has a Chihuahua named Finn, and so that's what I was going for here. And then I layered this piece onto a piece of basic black cardstock using my precision glue press. As you can see, I've been using my precision glue press through this whole video because I got finally a new thing of glue. Oh, holy Moses. So, in fact, I got two, so I shouldn't run out. I have a glue / adhesive paranoia thing of running out. So I try to always keep extra on hand. And as you have seen, if you've been watching my videos, I did actually end up running out and I was very distraught. So here I'm just going to glue this entire panel down on top of the basic black. And then I'm going to glue that panel to my card base. And then the Love You stamps, or not stamps, dies that we colored, those are going to get layered up on each other, and then they're going to also get glued to the card front. And then I'm going to use some honeybee gems to finish this card off. So back to story time. So yeah, that's what's going on with Pajama Crafter Stamps / Prickly Pear. They're basically one and the same now at this point. And I will link to Pajama Crafter stamps below so that if you want this little doggy stamp set, you can get it. I had a visit with my friend, Miss Deborah, today. She came over to pick up some things. We actually had lunch together, and she was commenting on how adorable this little doggy stamp set is, but she doesn't say dog, she says dog. And I think it's adorable every time she says it. She's from the East Coast, so she has a little bit of an accent with certain words that I think is really cute. And so I oftentimes will make her repeat those words. It's so funny because, you know, to every person, somebody has an accent, right? So if I was talking to my friend Tracy in Australia, she would say, I have an accent, where I would say she has an accent. So anyway, I just think it's funny that wherever you're from is how you talk. And then there's me, who's from a melting pot of backgrounds. My family's from the South, and so there's a lot of words that I do not pronounce correctly because, frankly, they were like poor Southern farmers and probably not the highest educated. And so when you grow up in a household with people saying wash instead of wash, you just adopt that word. Now, that one I did escape, but my mom says it that way, and we love to tease her for that. So anyway, I kind of rambled. I got off on a tangent there. So here I'm using numerous die cuts that I just cut in basic white, and then I'm layering them to create like almost like a chipboard feel to this little love sentiment, and then the U is going to go right under it, and I'm doing exactly the same process with that, and then we're going to glue it to the card base. I do want to say, if you haven't already, please sign up for my Mega Fun Fold class. There is a link below this video for you to sign up. It's $45. We are making so many cards, it's crazy. There will be a PDF, multiple videos. I really think you guys are going to love it. And so many of you have signed up already and started working on getting your binder put together. So this class is a little unique, and all my classes for Fun Folds are going to be a little unique in that we are creating a resource library. We're starting out with this first class. It's called Mega Fun Fold Card Class Volume 1. We called it Volume 1 because we are going to build on it. So you're going to make a binder that has a PDF in it for each card fold. Sorry about that. And it's also going to have a sample. So we go over all of that in class, but basically it's going to be like a resource library for you. Not only because once you purchase it, you have access forever, but then you're going to have it also sitting on your shelf somewhere, very organized and very pretty, and you're going to love it. So if you're interested, please sign up for that, and the link is below the video. So here I'm just kind of arranging the Love You, deciding exactly how it is that I would like them to go on this card. And I just love this card. I mean, both cards are cute, but this one with the little chihuahua in the corner is just over the top adorable. So these are Valentine's cards, and for me, I love puppies so much. I would give these to my friends who also love dogs. So I have some friends in my life who really love dogs, and I definitely will be sending these to them for Valentine's Day. Now, this wouldn't be appropriate for just anybody for Valentine's Day. Obviously, if this is a person who's not an animal lover, you wouldn't want to give it to them. But that is what the beauty is of handmade cards, is that you get to customize your cards to fit your recipient, whoever it is that you're sending to. So once we got these glued down, my last little step was to grab my embellishments and add embellishments to this card. I do also want to mention, you may notice that I will no longer be having YouTube premieres on my YouTube channel, at least for now. I will be popping in with random YouTube lives here and there, but you can count on videos from me on Wednesdays and Saturdays going forward, starting in the month of February. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you need any of the supplies, I've linked to everything down below or over on my blog. And you can, actually, there's a link below that just says measurements and supplies, and you can go there. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I really appreciate you tuning in, and I'll catch you again later. Bye-bye.